Hi guys, it's B again with another game. Um, Hopefully you guys are enjoying. These are obviously pre-recorded videos. I am gonna have a friend coming out, Busty coming out. So we're recording in advance while I'm sick. Also crazy. Wait, no, no. Oh no. Back. Skip. I don't. I need to go back to this. Okay, it was a little stale though. Sorry, I was like, wait a second, we're starting from the beginning again? No. But I'm not gonna say no to free food. Fair enough, I guess. I took a seat at one of the booths. It wasn't particularly comfortable and something was preventing me from resting my back against the cushions. Digging through the ripped open leather, I found a set of keys hidden within it. There must be the keys to the diner or something. Little good it would be. Little good it would do now, since after already looking around, doors were either missing or withered enough that a good shove could bypass any lock. Still, I decided just to pocket the keys for now. Maybe I can find some other use for them later. Rosita skipped through the employees' only kitchen door, and I could hear the rustle of the metal and boxes being moved from here. I decided to rest my eyes for a bit. Dreariness starting to take over as my palms cradled my head over the table. What time was it even? Is time even relevant in Limbo? I doubted it. There wasn't anything resembling a sun in the sky despite there being light. Just clouds for miles on end. Limbo was meant to be a temporary holding place before humans like Rosita and I ascended or descended with one of the immortals. As rare as it was for someone like me or Rosetta to end up here, it'd have to be a modestly big to even hold 0.0001% of the deaths that happened a year. Before I could further bore myself with the path, Rosita had came back, a tray in hand and a big cheery smile. Cheery, not cherry.
Ding ding ding! Order up! One late night crunch special!
For a Miss B! She set the plate in front of me and slid in. Oh my god, I cannot read today. Slid in the seat across from me with the empty glass and straw. I looked down at my food and, Rosita? Yeah? What is this?
It's a sausage and hash brown skillet, silly. It got the nickname Late Night Crunch because it's super popular with the college students. Legend on my campus has it that a student ate this every day before their exams, and they would get flawless marks. It's like a good luck ritual. Oh, I think my manager just made that up to get more customers from my college.
Probably. Doesn't mean it wasn't delicious. Dig in. Rosita had began to slip from her clearly empty glass and hummed whimsically. Eat the food. I took the rusted knife and fork in hand, cutting myself a sizable portion of the late night crunch. Bringing it to so close to my mouth, Rosita's expression began to change from one of whimsy to that of alarm. Wait, B, I didn't mean... But it was too late. I had stuck the food into my mouth, and in an instant, the inevitable happened. It tasted like actual shit if I've ever had it. I got up from the booth and ran to the closest trash can, Rosita following behind. Blech! It tasted just as bad coming out the way it came in. Maybe even worse. What were you thinking, B? Truly, what was I thinking in putting actual fried garbage into my mouth? In between retches, I managed to form out a response. I didn't want to disappoint you. I didn't want to disappoint you. I heard her sigh and crouched down next to me.
Aww.
She rubbed my back soothingly to comfort me as I finished upchucking whatever I had left in my stomach. Still, you shouldn't have eaten that. That plate was clearly bad. I may have been a better waitress in life than a cook, but I like to think I can manage to make something edible from time to time. Plus, I know we're already, like, dead, but what would happen if you got really sick from that? Or even worse, poisoned to death? Where, where do we go if we die twice? I managed to pull myself and Rosita back up before she started crying again. Hey, I'm alright, see? Are you sure? Could use some water to wash out the gross taste in my mouth, but I'll manage. Oh, for sure. We should get going anyways. I think it's starting to actually get dark out. Rosita was right. It did look a little dimmer outside, so it was best to skedaddle and try to find the others. She flipped the restaurant sign to closed on the way out. After some time walking in silence with her arms hooked, she hugged a little closer to me. I turned my head to see if she was okay or needed a break. Hey, was she blushing?
Aww.
Thanks for going along with me earlier. I never would have thought someone would go so far as to eat garbage for me.
You're really sweet.
You're
And
really...
I really needed a friend right now.
Aww. Friends? We may have just met, but that didn't sound too bad, to be honest. A friend like Rosita in this kind of world? Heck. Rosita? Even on Earth sounds fine to me. Rosita or Rosita? Rosita. I don't know. My brain's breaking. Rosita and I were in what looked like to be the downtown area. Like the buildings we explored before, most were inaccessible, empty, or had some shady-looking figures inhabiting them. All except the shopping mall center. In contrast to everything else, it was teeming with life, built around a river with the cleanest-looking water I've ever seen. I knelt down and scooped some water into my hands to take a sip, thirsty from all the wondering. It actually tasted pretty clean. It was cool and refreshing on my tongue, like I had taken a swig from a chill bottle of water. As tempting as it was to drink some more, I saw some residents taking a bath in the river a distance from us. So the invasive thought of people using the mall river with the same amount of respect as a community pool turned me off for now. Because, you know, people piss in those. While I was busy thinking about that, I ended up losing Rosita who had wandered off on her own. I doubt she would leave the area entirely, and with that amount of pink on her, she was hard to miss either. Most of the stores within the mall operated by trade instead of some form of currency. Being relatively new here, I didn't have much on me except for some keys I found back at Sweetie Shake's. Not that anything really piqued my interest per se, except...
Oh, come on! You gotta sell me that thing!
That sounded like Mitts. I followed the sound of her voice and found her looking pretty cross at the vendor. From the looks of it, she was trying to buy something off the vendor and looking pretty desperate to convince him.
Tut, lady. This sweet robot toy we got goes for at least 3 juice boxes. Your Earth money is no good here, even if it's a crisp hundo. Paper money is as good as toilet paper in my domain.
How about you just take the whole wallet? Is that enough?
How am we supposed to do with a dinky wallet like that? Can't carry anything in it. But that's a lot of fancy toys you have strapped to your belt there. Much fancier than this one we traded for.
He nodded to her tool belt and reached to touch a hammer. Mitz took a step back.
Back off, dude. You can't have any of my tools. If I gave you any of them, it would render the whole reason I wanted the toy pointless.
Then we're done here. Scrap!
Mitz did not look happy at all by this. All this for a silly kid's plaything? Hey, Mitz.
What's up?
B, great timing. You got anything I can trade this bozo for his robot toy? Why? I need it so I can take it apart and use scrap to build myself a new hand. I'm right-handed and this incredible brain is useless without 2 functioning hands to tinker.
Well, I got an idea or two on how you can put that pretty little head of yours to good work.
Oh, God.
Beg pardon?
Uh-oh. Looks like Mitz was about to throw down with the vendor. He didn't seem too tough, pretty scrawny at that. Suddenly, something grabbed me and Mitz by the back collar and lifted us inches off the ground. I looked behind to see several tall, lily-white tank-top men surrounding us. There a problem here? Want to show 'em out, Mr. Hordes?
Yes, fellas, if you would be so kind. These broke bitches don't have anything of value to trade with us. Dispose of them at once.
Oh my god. Wait! Mitz looked over to me frantically for any idea of how to get the toy from the man. Just give the man a blowjob, Mitz. No. Absolutely not. Offer the keys. It's a long shot, but how about some keys? I managed to reach into my pocket and pull out the keys, jingling them, hoping Hordes would be enticed. One of the men scoffed. What use would Mr. Hordes have for the... Hordes raised his hand, the man immediately silenced. We accept your offer. What? Seriously? Even Mitz was surprised by this, as Hordes swiped the keys from my hand and the men put us back down. Does thou question our judgment? Foolish. As the king of this dump, we can use it. We can find use in the most shitty of garbage. Like how these keys can make for a wonderful makeshift pair of brass knuckles. He punched at the air around him to demonstrate. Once he realized how silly he must have looked, he turned to his usual ridiculous, kingly composure and tossed toys for Mitz to catch. Anyways, yeah, the robot is all yours. I got bored of it weeks ago. Now beat it. We did just then. The whole time Mitz was just beaming with energy while already taking apart the toy.
Thank you so much!
B.
I promise. If you're in Haven Home, I'll make it up to you.
Hey, it's no problem. I thought those keys would have come in handy since traditional door locks are obsolete here. Would have made a decent weapon like the guy said. She then swooped in and gave me a great big hug. A really, really tight hug. Like I think my lungs are collapsing. Mitz? I need air. 3 more seconds. 1, 2, 3. She let go and the air never tasted so good. Oh, come on, you big baby. I wasn't even using half of my strength. If that was only half, I don't want to experience you at full power. Only if you ask nicely. She laughed and I blushed. Mitz was pretty strong, and I bet she could break me in half if she really wanted to. You know, even if those guys were pretty huge, I bet you could have taken them on solo. Maybe if it was just 1 or 2, but we were pretty outnumbered. Yeah? And I really don't like having to use these sweet muscles for anything other than hauling machinery, or as a last resort. As easy as it is to brute force my way to a solution, I'm an innovator, not an instigator. Though I'm glad you came in clutch back there, hon. So, thanks. I owe you one, B. I'll keep that in mind if I need a hand down the line. Wait. Oh, ha, very funny. That was an accident, I swear. Haha, you bitch. Sure it was. Mitz giggled at my attempt to save face, so I decided to change subject. You're an engineer or something? A robotics engineer specifically, but I dabbled into other sciences too, like IT. What kind of stuff have you made? Her eyes lit up. I may have died at the age 25, but ever since I was a teen, I've been building and innovating tech. Like when I was 14, still in the egg, I was super into skateboarding, but the homophobic kids in my neighborhood never wanted to play with me. So I made myself a functioning hoverboard to one-up my neighbors. I was still young, so I didn't exactly know how to make it energy efficient. It took a whole week to charge for less than an hour of play. But the look on those fuckboys getting shredded by the neighborhood twink was well worth the grounding my dad's gave me when the power bill came in. That's amazing, Mitz. Mitz instantly blushed from my praise. After that, Mitz and I continued to browse the mall to see what we could find. That is pretty cool. A hoverboard? We walked around some more, Mitz still on the hunt to find something to trade for her hand replacement. Sadly, technology was fairly sparse in Limbo from what I've seen. The ones that did catch our eyes were way out of our price range. That being 0. In hindsight, we should have expected that. I feel like I'm in the 1800s. Hopefully Haven Home is at least in the 90s. I'd even take the 80s or 70s. I'm that desperate. Rosita mentioned that one of the buildings we inspected was original diner from 1920s. Which, man, like, now that I think about it, that's... yikes. So I doubt there's anything too modern to be found. Figures, I saw some folks dancing to Louis Armstrong around a gramophone earlier than with Roadkill. Speaking of them, where are they? Don't know. Last time I saw them, they scampered off to join those people dancing around the phone. You should probably look for them. Earlier, we ran into someone that was a fan of theirs and would let us crash at her place for the night while we all figure out what we want to do. DJ Roadkill has a fan here? What are the odds of an encounter like that? About 0.0000037%. I did the math in my head when it happened. Well, I'm cautious about the 1 in a billion. It's a better option than possibly getting jumped in our sleep by someone or something dangerous. That makes sense. Where did you say this group of Louis Armstrong stands were? In the parking lot area east from here. It's where we came in from. I think Rosita and I came in from the main west entrance. Where is she now? She got distracted and wandered off. I'm sure she's still floating around here somewhere. Good. I'll track her down. We can all regroup then. I nodded and headed towards the east entrance of the shopping center. It seems like Louis Armstrong worshippers had left with the record still playing. Shame, I actually kind of wanted to see that. I took a few steps into the parking lot when I heard someone call out for my attention.
Hey!
Yeah? They made those noises that someone makes when they're trying to beckon a cat their way. I made my way over to them. DJ Roadkill, was it?
DJ Roadkill, DJ RK, yada yada yada. Whatever works best for you. I know it can be a mouthful.
We're gonna go with Roadkill. I'll call you Roadkill from now on. Alright, cool. But listen, I managed to get the 4 of us a place to sleep for the night. I'm hoping y'all would hear me out about what I had in mind before trying to split ways. Ah, that's right. Roadkill was the one person who wasn't fond of the options Ramon and Clay? But we can talk about that together later. Right now, I totally gotta show you the place we're gonna stay at. Where is it? You'll see soon enough. So I followed Roadkill as they merely led the way to this supposed place. For only being here less than a day, Roadkill sure moved around the streets as if they lived here their whole life. On the way there, we passed by what looked like a small community that made their homes in some of the more intact buildings. The atmosphere seemed less somber and gloomy than the rest of the town, but only by so much. We stopped right in front of a church? A church? Somehow you don't strike me as a religious type. I'm not. Or I wasn't till I woke up in the literal Garden of fucking Eden. Really, I'm still 50-50 on everything that's going on. But that's not the reason I brought you here. Roadkill hopped on the stairs and I followed. Their hands rested on the church's door handle.
Check this shit out.
They gave the handle a good yank, and I couldn't believe what my eyes were seeing. From the outside, it looked like an ordinary church, but the inside... The inside was completely different. What once was a church had been remodeled into a nightclub. Beautiful stained glass windows illuminated the dance floor, along with an elegant chandelier, furthering this strange clash of motifs. And despite all that, it still somehow managed to be the most normal-looking place I had encountered today. Whoa. Dope, huh? Roadkill's voice seemed to be coming from above me, and when I looked up, I saw them hanging upside down from the chandelier hoop. I'm genuinely at a loss for words. When the fuck did you get up there? Who cares? I've seen my fair share of nightclubs when I was alive, but this is def on my top 10 list. Oh my god. They expertly swung themselves off from the ceiling and back to the ground with ease. Faye, the owner, renovated this place with the help of some of the neighborhood people. It's meant to give the residents and their leader in limbo a bit of pleasure every now and again. She lives in hell, but has some visa or whatever and brings stuff over from there to here when she can. She's also a total cougar, but unromanceable unless the Kickstarter stretch goal is met. Ha! Ha ha. Funny. Didn't we hit that stretch goal, actually? What? What? Anyways. She sounds pretty cool. Where is she? She's off visiting some of the residents. She said I could perform tonight if I set up the equipment myself. Mind helping me out? Please? Just kidding. You don't have a choice unless you want to sleep elsewhere. With no option to say no, I guess I helped Roadkill set up the stage for tonight's performance. While we worked, Roadkill and I made conversation. Well, it's more Roadkill talking about whatever came to their mind, and me just nodding my head trying to figure out what cable goes where. For a dystopian-looking town, electricity outlets all seem to be functional. I believe dim lighting in most places comes from the lack of working appliances to light up the area. Candles, however, were pretty abundant, and in the club's case, worked into its aesthetic. Roadkill sure looked right at home at that. DJ Roadkill. That can't be their actual name, right? I mean, it's the one the demon used for them back in the garden, but... And that weird mask that they never seem to take off? I just had to ask. Ask about the mask. So, do you have a face under that mask, or...
Maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe I don't. Maybe I'm just a skeleton underneath this.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, game theory. DJ Roadkill is funny skeleton man?
Oh my god. But that's just a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching.
Oh, will we get copyright strike for mentioning another IP?
I don't know.
Nah, I think that description was pretty vague enough.
I laughed at the ridiculousness of what Roadkill was saying while I popped open a can of sheesh Canadian Shy. I have no idea what you're talking about. But to answer your question is that there is no answer. The mystery of what lies behind the mask is one of the core appeals of my character. I shit you not, most of my gigs I've landed are because of my strategically marketable persona. It's even got me some post-show revenues. Post-show rendezvous. B. Greed. Booty calls. B. Try to keep up. You'd be surprised how many people want to smash while I wear the mask. Not that I want to take it off, anyways. Don't want to spoil the allure that DJ Roadkill am I right? Haha, yeah. Was it just me, or did they sound a bit sad there? Maybe I should change subject. What was this plan you wanted to discuss with others? It's better to talk about it when the others are here. But basically, I just think that, we shouldn't jump into the arms of the first person we meet. Even if they are some fine as fuck angel or demon. You know what I mean? Kinda, I guess. After that, it was back to Roadkill mindlessly rambling on, with no filter till we finished setting up the stage. Some time had passed and I noticed through the window that it was the equivalent of nighttime outside. The sky remained cloudy and vacant of any moon or stars in sight. It was to be expected. I doubted either of those would exist in limbo. I suppose it's just another thing I'm going to miss from the living world. I gave a weary sigh at that thought and took a seat in one of the pews. Even with all the shenanigans I had endured today, I can't help but feel somber. My life as I knew it was over. I couldn't even properly lament my own death as I had no recollection of the events leading up to it to make matters worse. God. The reality of my and the other situation was starting to hit me harder than before. Hello? I threw my head back when I heard the church doors open, bringing my pity party to an end for the moment. It was Rosita and Mitz with another person right behind them. Faye, probably? I may be depressed, but I wasn't going to be rude and not introduce myself to our host for the night. I pushed myself up to my feet, whether I wanted to greet them or not. You're Faye, right? Faye was a tall, slender woman with dark hair and a streak of silver that ran down from the side of their angular face. I couldn't tell if the silver was from dye or natural, but for the sake of avoiding asking a woman what her age is, I kept it to myself. Despite that, by no means did she look old. Mature, sure, but she made it work.
Faybale, but you can call me Faye. My, this place looks far from heavenly. Not that that's an insult, no. It's something to be, dare I say, praised?
Roadkill hopped down from the stage towards us, full of piss and vinegar. Yeah, tonight's gonna be lit. Is now really a good time to party? May as well, we don't know what we'll hold for the four of us tomorrow. Why not throw a killer rave for the dead? But I'm not dressed for a rave. I doubt anyone will be, honestly. No. You have that all wrong. We all looked at her. During my visits here, I tend to bring an assortment of daily necessities for the residents. That includes clothing. They might not be designer and a little worn out, but everyone has at least one or two Sunday bests in their possessions they save for special occasions. However, this time I didn't bring anything extra to donate for you, but I'll gladly loan you some of mine. Just for tonight, though, since they're my personal outfits. That's so sweet! Told you she was cool. Yeah, thanks for everything you've given us. It's much appreciated given our circumstances. She smiled warmly for us. Well, most of us.
Actually,
How do you get all these supplies here? I'd imagine it can't be easy, let alone safe, to try to support a whole town of citizens. Roadkill looked up at Mitz and nudged her. Mitz, why are you trying to look a mouth horse in the gift? That's not how the expression goes, and I think I'm pretty justified in being suspicious since she's from hell. Yes. Mitz. No need to defend me, DJ. I can understand why Miss Mitz would question my unwavering kindness. Especially considering I'm from the big bad place under the ground. So I must have a malicious ulterior motive, right? None of us has heard anything good about hell or the demons who run it. She wasn't wrong. More often than not, hell and demons were attributed with evil connotations and intentions. Sure, there were a few pieces of work that tried to be transformative and make hell, demons, and Lucifer to be complex, misunderstood antagonists. But if you asked anyone what they thought hell would be, the first thought would be fire, brimstone, and the scum of the earth being punished in agony for eternity for their sins. Faye sighed in disappointment.
That's Utopia's propaganda ad work for you. Don't assume that everyone in hell is a bad person. Some were dealt a bad hand in life, never receiving the help they truly needed to better themselves. Others simply enjoyed their lives to the fullest, that a good Christian believer could only fantasize about. And some just don't quite fit into that black and white criteria Utopia has created to screen people like yourselves. Hence, why you stand here in this plane of existence between realms today.
Mitz kept quiet, looking a bit ashamed, like a child being chastised by her parents. Faye's expression softened once more.
Not everyone in hell is a bad person. There are very bad people in it, but that doesn't make me or anyone else inherently evil. To vouch and answer your question, most of these supplies are donated from citizens in hell. How I am able to bring them here? I suppose you could say I have a permit to move through limbo and hell when needed.
Mitz kind of squinted at that last part. A permit? Roadkill jumped back into the conversation. Hey! Mouth horse gift! The semantics of everything would take too long to go over. Mitch shrugged, letting the topic go. It looked like she wanted to say more, but stopped for Roadkill's sake. Especially since we have a party to throw tonight. Woohoo! Party! Aw, yeah, now we're talking. My room is down the corridor on the right. It's the big mahogany door. You can hardly miss it. Now see if you can find an outfit suited to your taste. He followed directions as told and found the room with no problem. For the most part, it still looked like an office with amenities for comfortable living. There was a futon rolled up on the corner that looked barely used next to the wardrobe where I assumed tonight's loaners were stored. Many of the bookshelves remained, but I couldn't help but notice some of the titles were not exactly the most religious. From storybooks, young adult novels, literally classics, to comic books, to some more adult-themed literature. I flipped through one of the books. Yep, it's porn, alright. At the beginning of the book, I noticed a pocket with a note in it. Return to Faye by next arrival. Maybe this room doubled as a library? Suddenly, I felt a hand on my shoulder. What you reading there? Roadkill's grip on my shoulder tightened. Faye, you minx. This is some kinky shit. Hand holding? How lewd. Not that I'm gonna judge. Good thing she's romanceful now thanks to the Kickstarter, huh? Oh yeah. Thank you to all the backers. Y'all the real MVPs. With the wall break finished, they went back to searching through the wardrobe with the others. Personally, I couldn't give much care as to what I would wear for the party tonight. A sense of gloom hung over me that was too hard to shake. Hey, B, aren't you gonna pick out something too? I shrugged. I'll just wear whatever is left, honestly. That's no good. We don't want her to feel left out, right, guys? Rosita looked over to Mitz and Roadkill, who had almost a full outfit already picked out, and Rosita frowned their way.
Right on.
Huh? Oh yeah, right. Come on and join us. We can help you pick something that suits you, for sure. They said that, but kept their picks close to them regardless. I gave in and dug through the racks and drawers. Smart suspenders, cheeky booty shorts, a floaty dress. I like the short dress out of them all. It was in my favorite color, breezy and a little flirty. I found some hoop earrings and a matching pair of kitten heels to top it all off. The gang let me have first dibs to change in the restroom. Once I came back, I did a little twirl for them, and they all clapped approvingly. You look so adorable. I could just eat you up. Strut them legs, girl. Cute. Very cute. I can't help but blush as they compliment me in one shape or another. It gave me a small boost of confidence I really needed right about now. Thanks, you guys. My turn. What? I thought I was next. Unless you want to change together. Sure, we're both girls. I'm non-binary, actually. They, he pronouns. That's fine, too. Backtracking a bit, I'll hop in, too, and make sure Deej doesn't try anything. Like what? Heh, I wasn't. Not without anyone's consent, of course. The three of them went to change in the bathroom together, and since I was already dressed, I felt it was polite to stay behind. One by one, they came out and showed off their outfits for the night. Rosita wore a simple bright yellow dress that really brought out the highlights in her hair. I can't tell if Roadkill was going to hit the old town road or the club. And Mitz kept it simple and comfortable with a layered look. We're going to have to save here because we're out of time, guys. But look at their outfits. They all look great. They all thanked me, each in their own way, when the knock came at the door. Let's go ahead and save here. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye!